MacDonald, M-A-C-D-O-N-A-L-D. And I'm a senior manager at T-Mobile, the wireless phone company.
Where do you operate from?
Our corporate headquarters is in Bellevue, Washington. Our office is in Parsippany, New Jersey.
And when you say our office, which office specifically, which branch or sort of agency of T-Mobile?
I'm with the Law Enforcement Relation Group. We're part of the legal department.
And as part of your duties there, do you have occasion to review, collect, and authenticate records of phone calls for T-Mobile customers?
Yes.
Okay. Are those records normally kept in the course of T-Mobile's business because you, of course, have to bill people?
Yes.
And are they made at or near the time that the calls are documented?
Yes, they are.
So this is sort of your monthly phone bill, and you guys keep all that stuff?
Yes.
Mr. MacDonald, I'm showing you what's been marked for, and I think sort of by agreement, sections of phone records for two T-Mobile phones marked currently as States Exhibits 166 and 167. You're familiar with the records reflected in those exhibits?
Yes, I am.
If there's no objection, I would be moving 166 and 167 into evidence.
No objection? No. 166 will come in as 166, as will 167 come in as 167.
Mr. MacDonald, if you would please go ahead and tell us sort of how it is that these records get generated. How does T-Mobile get a paper record of a cellular phone call?
When a call is made, as the call goes through the T-Mobile network, on the switches in that network are billing gateways. Those billing gateways capture the information for billing purposes. That information is then sent out to the billing computers where it sits in a digital format until which time it's called upon for whatever need the company has for those records.
The first set of records that I'd like to discuss is the one that's affiliated with the phone number, the T-Mobile phone number, area code 407-435-2400. Do you see that in front of you?
Yes, I do.
And which exhibit is that, sir?
This is States Exhibit 167.
Okay. And Mr. MacDonald, if I could direct your attention up to the large screen. Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to show you a portion of that record. Oh, boy. Here we go. It's better. And I'm going to ask you to tell us sort of what it is that we're looking at here, what kind of columns we're talking about. If I start with the left-hand column, is that the phone number that the records are associated with?
The left-hand column under the heading Misden, which is just a fancy term for the phone number, that is the phone number for the subscriber for those records.
If I'm looking specifically at the records for the 2/26/2012 date, you see that column there with the dates?
Yes.
And then I look in the destination column. I guess I'll start with the very top of that column. That series of numbers there starts with 216. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay. What is that column?
That is an IP addressing. It's all I can tell you. It's some type of IP session, some type of web session. That number is IP addressing.
So you're talking about an internet provider?
Yes.
If I go to the next sort of the next word, which is incoming in that column, what is an incoming call?
When you see incoming on the destination, it just simply means that the call is an incoming call, that it came into the subscriber's handset.
Okay. And so if it were a call being made by the subscriber, what would it say?
It will be, you see under the incoming, it will have a destination. Like in this case, it will say Sanford, Florida.
Okay. As it does in the next line?
Yes, that would indicate an outgoing call.
Okay. And as for time, is that military time there, sir?
It is.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to move over for a moment to the call type. Tell me what that F means and what that D means over there in that column.
Well, the F is a mobile-to-mobile call. It's a T-Mobile to T-Mobile phone. And when you see a D, that indicates that it's a text message.
And if I go out just a little bit to number of minutes, what is that column designed to measure?
That's the number of minutes for the call.
So the duration of the call?
Duration of the call,
So
yes.
under the time column, is that the start time of the phone call?
Yes, yes it is.
And then the number of minutes tells you how long it lasts?
Yes, we bill out to the minute. So it's, if you see the first one's 3 minutes, that would be anything between 2 and 3 minutes.
So let me guess, you round it up?
Yes.
As far as T-Mobile phones go, in your familiarity with their records, as far as the clock, the time that a call starts, unless the phone is altered in some way by the user, are all the T-Mobile phones going to use the same time?
The phones, if they're in auto time, then they would pick up the time for the area that they're in. Of course, most phones, people can set their own time on the phones also.
Okay. Now tell me about text messages and times.
Text messaging, the timestamp for text messaging is in Pacific time because it's default routing, and it picks up default routing, and it picks up Pacific time for the timestamp.
So if I look there, for example, the first D column I see for text message says incoming text message at 2014. Does that mean that the text message actually arrived at 8:14 p.m. Eastern time or Pacific time?
That would be Pacific time, and you just add the 3 hours for Eastern time.
Okay, so that text would actually arrive in the phone at 23:14 instead of 2014?
Yes.
If the phone were in the Eastern time zone?
Yes.
To determine the length in seconds of the phone call, do you have to actually measure the recording itself and time it? In other words, you say, for example, if I look at the third call up there, the incoming call that says 3 minutes, you said that could last anywhere actually between 2 and 3 minutes. Would I have to actually time the phone call itself to get to the actual seconds?
With looking at these records, this type of billing format, yes.
Okay. And the same would be true of all the calls in that column?
Yes, with the exception of text messaging, it's going to show a 1. That's more or less a placeholder. It'll usually always show a 1 or a 0.
Okay. So I see 2 calls that I just want to direct your attention to in particular. One at 19:08. Do you see that one?
Yes, I do.
So that would be made at 7:08 p.m. and I think the column indicates that that lasts 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. And then there's a second one at 19:18 that lasts 1, and both of those calls are made to 407-688-5070.
Yes, they're both outgoing calls to that number.
When you see a 1 in the number of minutes, does that mean that there actually was any conversation, or could it simply mean that there was a call and then a connection and an immediate hang-up?
In order for it to come on to these billing records, there would have to be some type of connection. I couldn't tell you what that connection is, but a connection on the other end.
All right. And as long as there's 1 second of connection, it's going to show a minute. Am I
Yes.
right? Because you get a bill for it, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to move, if I could,
Not yet.
you good at 166. And now in looking at these records, I'm going to start, I guess, let me do it this way. If I look over to the left-hand column, that number I see there, 17863129558. What is that number?
That is that would be the number for these records. That would be the number of the subscriber for these records.
Okay, so that's the phone number.
Yes.
If I ask you the second column there that says voice, what does that mean?
That's the type of activity. It may say voice, it may say SMS, which short message service, it's a text message, or you may see data in there also.
Okay. And the third column, where we have a date, what appears to be a time, including seconds, what is that column?
That is the date and time of the call, or the activity of the phone.
And incoming and outgoing, does that mean the same thing as it did in 167?
Yes.
All right. As far as the next column where I see another long number, what does that column signify?
That would be the phone number that is either calling to the subscriber number or the subscriber is calling to.
Okay. And TMO-US, I can bet that stands for T-Mobile?
T-Mobile US, yes.
Okay. If I look at the last column, actually the last two columns over here, what do those columns signify in terms of, I'm going to ask duration for minutes and then durations for seconds?
Yes, these are the first column on second from the right to the left. That's your time of the call or activity in seconds. And it's actually rounded out, in minutes. And the seconds are rounded out in hundredths of a minute.
All right, so the far right column is seconds and the
Yes.
second to the right column is in minutes?
Yes.
And again, you're rounding up?
Yes.
So if I were to, for example, look at the highlighted call, which is the first highlighted call, 2/26/2012 at 7:12:06 p.m., does that tell me that that is an incoming phone call to this phone that connected at 7:12:06 on the evening of February 26, 2012?
Yes.
Okay. And the phone number that called that phone is 786-419-3726?
Yes, that's correct.
And that phone call lasted 218 seconds or 3.63 minutes?
Yes.
The very first call on this sheet, it's not highlighted, but it shows a connection time of what, sir?
6:54 and 16 seconds p.m.
Okay, and it's that same phone number that ends in 3726?
Yes.
And it is for 17.53 minutes?
Yes.
Let me ask you, the second highlighted call here, and in fact every call thereafter, where we alternate incoming, outgoing, all the way down the page?
Yes.
Okay. Beginning with that second highlighted call, it looks like it is 43 seconds or 0.72 minutes.
Yes.
Can you
correct.
tell me what these records indicate to you as far as the nature of that call and why we see alternated incoming and outgoing all the way?
Well, starting on 2/26/2012 at 7:16 p.m. and 24 seconds, you have the incoming call from 786-419-3726, and under that you see it appears to say outgoing to a 1-805-637-7249. That 805 number is our voicemail platform. T-Mobile's one of the voicemail platforms. So what you're seeing is the 3726 number is calling into the subscriber's number. It's not being answered, and it's dropping the voicemail. The reason it would appear to be an outgoing call, where it says outgoing, is as a call drops into voicemail, the phone pushes that call over to voicemail. So on the records, it gives an indication of an outgoing call. It's just going to voicemail.
So after the call at 7:12:06 p.m. gets disconnected, is every call thereafter go straight to voicemail?
To the bottom of that page, yes, that's what's happening.
All right. Thank you, Honor. Judge, I have no. Your Honor, thank you. I have no other questions.
Thank you. Mr. Romero, are you going to need the lights on or off?
On for now. I may not need the records. So we're clear on the first call that we looked at. That was more of a truncated or a smaller amount of data was actually identified on that first record that we have. Didn't have the exact minutes and seconds, for example, correct?
You mean the first set of call records we looked at? Yes, that's correct.
By mine. I'm not going to encourage you, but we're talking about the one that was on here.
Yes.
Right? Any reason why we don't have the detail on this one that you're able to show on this one?
It's just depends upon the application that's being utilized when the records are pulled. The first set of records is a different application. The second set of records, when we have certain requests, we'll go to that application to pull those records.
Sure. You could have been asked to bring these same records for the first number, right?
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
You just didn't. You were only asked by the state to bring the, I'm not diminishing it, but the more generic or less specific numbers for the first record that we reported or you testified about than you did for the second one, correct?
It would appear that way, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because had you been asked similar records for both, there were more specific detail, you would have brought them?
Sure.
Okay. Talking about the first phone call then for just a minute, we noticed that there were two phone calls. There was one for, I think, 3 minutes and one for 1 minute. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. That would be like if I called the number right now, was on the phone for 3 minutes, put the phone back, maybe I was nervous or something had happened to me, and I dialed and it pushed again. As long as it connected to that second call for even a second, it would show up as a minute, right?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
Yes.
You don't document that there was a conversation that second time, do you?
No, I can only say by looking at the records that there was a connection, but not what the connection was.
Sure. And as to the second, more detailed records that we just had you testify concerning, it seems as though from this report there are the phone calls that he had you focus on, that he highlighted, correct?
Yes.
One lasted about almost 4 minutes, 3.63 minutes, correct?
Yes.
Is there a reason why you do minutes and seconds? I just have to ask. Why you have minutes and then you also have a column for seconds?
That's the way the application pulls the information.
Just a great computer telling us that?
Yes.
Okay. So there were those two phone calls that I think you testified did in fact connect because we know the timing of them, correct?
Yes.
But then we go down the list, and you can tell by outgoing is when it kicks it automatically over to a voicemail.
If I see a call coming in ahead of the 805 number, which is one of our voicemail platform numbers,
Right.
And yes, I can determine that call dropped into voicemail.
Right, because if I'm calling this number, then you see the next thing is outgoing from that call, because that phone has basically called over to voicemail.
Pushed into voicemail.
Push it.
Yes.
Okay. And then there are a number of those lasting, I know you don't have this in front of you, lasting 20 seconds, 27 seconds, 7 seconds, 7 seconds. That's just whatever the length of the then voicemail is, correct?
Yes.
Or whatever the connection delay time is, and then the message being left on voicemail?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor, for the question.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Just one. As far as getting the more detailed set of records or something, do those records have to be ordered within a certain time frame of their creation or their loss?
The records, the second set of records, because of the information that it contains, we only maintain those for a period of 6 months in the system.
So if they were asked for within 6 months of that time, you could have given us to them, but anything after that, you couldn't?
Yes, that's correct.
Another question.
No, sorry, just because I thought I knew it, now I'm confused. Which records do you only keep for 6 months?
The ones on your left, my right.
Okay, so this one, the more detailed one, you only keep for 6 months?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Any further questions?
No, Your Honor, I'd ask you to be excused.
Thank you, Mr. Any objections?
No.
Mr. MacDonald, you may be excused. Thank you very much, sir. Call your next witness, please.
They would call Jennifer Lauer.
Here we go. It's better. And I'm going to ask you to tell us sort of what it is that we're looking at here, what kind of columns we're talking about. If I start with the left-hand column, is that the phone number that the records are associated with?
The left-hand column under the heading Misden, which is just a fancy term for the phone number, that is the phone number for the subscriber for those records.
If I'm looking specifically at the records for the 2/26/2012 date, you see that column there with the dates?
Yes.
And then I look in the destination column. I guess I'll start with the very top of that column. The first set of records that I'd like to discuss is the one that's affiliated with the phone number, the T-Mobile phone number, area code 407-435-2400. Do you see that in front of you?
Yes, I do.
And which exhibit is that, sir?
This is State's Exhibit 167.
Okay. And Mr. MacDonald, if I could direct your attention up to the large screen. Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to show you a portion of that record. Oh, boy. Because you, of course, have to bill people.
Yes.
And are they made at or near the time that the calls are documented?
Yes, they are.
So this is sort of your monthly phone bill, and you guys keep all that stuff.
Yes.
Mr. MacDonald, I'm showing you what's been marked for, and I think sort of by agreement, sections of phone records for 2 T-Mobile phones marked currently as State's Exhibits 166 and 167. You're familiar with the records reflected in those exhibits?
Yes, I am.
If there's no objection, I would be moving 166 and 167 into evidence.
Donald, M-A-C, D-O-N-A-L-D. And I'm a senior manager at T-Mobile, the wireless phone company.
Where do you operate from?
Our corporate headquarters is in Bellevue, Washington. Our office is in Parsippany, New Jersey.
And when you say our office, which office specifically, which branch or sort of agency of T-Mobile?
I'm with the Law Enforcement Relation Group. We're part of the legal department.
And as part of your duties there, do you have occasion to review, collect, and authenticate records of phone calls for T-Mobile customers?
Yes.
Okay. Are those records normally kept in the course of T-Mobile's business?
No objection?
No.
166 will come in as 166, as will 167 come in as 167.
Mr. MacDonald, if you would please go ahead and tell us sort of how it is that these records get generated. How does T-Mobile get a paper record of a cellular phone call?
When a call is made, as the call goes through the T-Mobile network, on the switches in that network are billing gateways. Those billing gateways capture the information for billing purposes. That information is then sent out to the billing computers where it sits in a digital format, until which time it's called upon for whatever need the company has for those records.